Well, hello. I am live. Let's see, anybody out here yet? I'm not seeing anybody. I'm just going to give it a second here to get a few people in, hopefully. Oh, hi, Ruth Ann. Yeah, I am kind of a busy gal. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Debbie. Cool, people are checking in. Alrighty. Okay, so today I'm going to work on... Hey, Deb. Yes, you are on time. I'm actually a couple minutes late. Hi, Pat. Okay. Yeah, today I'm going to make a whale tail pendant out of a spoon, an old spoon, a silver plate spoon. You can make them out of sterling if you have a sterling spoon that you want to chop up. I personally, I don't have too many sterling spoons, and most of them are ones that I'm saving, like collecting, like souvenir spoons and things like that. However, I do have one spoon bowl that a friend of mine was here and working on some spoons. She has some spoons from her mom, and she made bracelets or I think it was bracelets for her daughters with some of the spoons that she had, and we had a few leftover bowls, so she said, do whatever I want with it. So I'm going to try that later, maybe today. But basically, I'm going to be working with a silver plate spoon. I don't recommend stainless because I think they're harder, but and I don't know that they would accept the patina very well. But if that's what you have, you could give it a try and let me know how that works out for you. Hi, Kit. Okay, so what I have here is in the handout that I'm going to post later on the very last page, I printed some whale tails that I drew that are they're kind of not the best, but they will work. So what I did was I'm going to cut one out and use this for my pattern for a spoon today. And I did mention on the group page a resource to get some plastic templates, whale tail pendants that you can get from flatwearable I think .com, but I know I put it in the post before, but I'll make sure that it's in the post after the demo. So I'm going to move the camera down here, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm going to be using. Now I flattened these spoons in my hydraulic press, but you don't have to have a press to do this. If you have two bench blocks or two flat pieces of steel like this, or similar to this, you can wedge them. Excuse me here, I got things out of my reach. You can wedge them, the spoon, in between two bench blocks like this, and take a nice sturdy hammer. If you don't have one this mammoth, you can just use a standard one, but you can flatten them, your spoon bowl like that without any problem. It just takes a little bit more muscle, but you can do it. It will flatten out just as flat as it would be on the press. Deb, on the rolling mill, I don't know that I would want to put it through the rolling mill. You probably could, but I don't know. There's different thicknesses on this, with the handle. If you cut off the bowl part, maybe, maybe you could do that. I just never have since I've got a press. But if you don't have a press, I would try the steel block first and see how that was. I would rather consult with somebody that knows if they can go through the rolling mill before I would tell you to do that, because I certainly wouldn't want you to damage your rollers. Okay, so that's an option. And it does work. I did flatten one out. The drawback with flattening these spoons is you get like a dent or kind of a wave, kind of like a bubble. It's not really, but I guess it's because the spoon was curved and bowled, and now try to get it flat, it doesn't really lay completely flat. But they all do it, whether it's sterling or plate, they all do that. So this is the sterling one, and it does the same thing as the plate ones. But it doesn't really affect what we're going to use, because the pattern is going to kind of miss that area. So that's a good thing. All right. You might want to consult somebody who does a lot of work with flatware if I can't answer any questions with about this process. Hey, Tammy. So anyway, I flattened the spoon in the rolling mill. The one issue I have with the rolling mill, not the rolling mill, the hydraulic press, is that if you do have a pattern on the end of the stem of the handle, you can flatten that design a little bit. So just be cautious of that. You can stamp over that area with metal stamps if you want to put your own design in there. It's a little difficult because this metal is a little bit harder. You don't anneal these. That's one thing about working with flatware is the plating on here is not the strongest or the deepest, maybe. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but if you are very vigorous with sanding, you can sand that plating right off. And then you'll see your base metal underneath, and you probably won't like that. So, you know, that's something to consider. So I will try not to get ahead of myself and to keep my thoughts all in the right direction, because you know that I kind of struggle sometimes with trying to get my point across. Okay, now I'm seeing here. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Susan. I'm seeing that someone said they put sterling spoon bowls through the mill. All right, I can't quite see the whole question, but anyway, yeah, let us know if you've done that and you've had any experience with it. Let us know, because I'd certainly like to know. But anyway, I'm going to cut out my whale tail pattern, and that shouldn't take long at all. You can do these in I don't know, I suppose different. This particular one that I drew out is for a teaspoon, but if you wanted to use a soup spoon or a tablespoon, they're different sizes. You would just have to adjust the pattern to fit. Now, I think that those, the plastic template that I mentioned from flatwearable.net, I said .com before, it's .net, I'm sorry. They have lots of different choices in their designs. I did post a picture of it in the group. So they would have different sizes and different styles of the tail. So I'm sure you could get them to fit a larger size spoon. Okay, so this one will fit right like this on a teaspoon. Okay, hope I have the angle right. So that fits. You could glue this down with a glue stick or rubber cement if you wanted to keep it steady while you're sawing, but I'm impatient, so and impulsive, if you haven't noticed that already. I'm just going to trace with a Sharpie marker, trace my design or the shape of the tail with a marker. I should have this down flat. And that's that. And then you can tweak it a little bit if you want. So if you want it to just have a little bit of different shape. And then I'm just going to hang these with a jump ring. So I'm going to make a hole at the top. So I just leave a little bit of the stem here just to hold the tail, hold it on. So I'm just going to, let's see here. And it doesn't matter if you cut it off a little bit longer than you really want, you can always shorten it. Now I haven't tried rolling it over to make a bail because this metal is pretty darn hard. And if you don't anneal it, that's near impossible to roll that with a pair of pliers. Okay. Hey, Suni. Okay. All right. So I've got those marked. And then the next thing I'm going to do is saw this bowl off of here. And I'm going to, now you know I hate sawing, and I'll probably embarrass myself and break blades for this tiny little piece, but that's what happens sometimes. Anyway, I'm using a jeweler's saw, if I can find it, here it is, and I'm using a 3/0 blade. So I've got that. Where is my wax? Okay, I'm just going to lubricate my blade, and then I'm going to move the camera so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I've got a temporary bench pin set up right here. I'm not used to using this one so much, but a bench pin is a bench pin is a bench pin, I guess. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Maybe it's better you don't. So I am just gonna start. Oh, this one's got a, I took this one off of the bench pin that I use. All right. So I cut the tail. It's not perfect, but it's okay. All right. All right, now I'm going to cut off the little handle here. Bingo. All right. Oh, thank God I didn't break a blade. That would be embarrassing. Okay, let's see here. All right, so that wasn't bad. Just cut that little part off. Then you can file all the rough edges or sand it. I am going to use, oh, cut my nails too. I'm going to use my little micromotor, and I'm going to get my face shield, and I'm going to make short work of it doing this. Now, you can texture this. Actually, I guess I got ahead of myself again. If you want a texture, which you probably will, I should have left the handle on to hold it while I'm texturing. But, you know, that's how it goes when you're watching me. You could take a texture hammer. Doing the plated metal is a little bit more, it's hard. It's actually hard, and it's a little stiff to take the texturing. And let's see here. If you want to test it out, if you want to test out your pattern or your texturing, I would recommend the part of the bowl that you cut off to practice on that, on this bowl, and see what will take the least effort. Let's see, get situated here. This will work. This one would work if you wanted to make lines. You might not get the full length of this hammer, but that works. That will leave lines because you're going to add patina to this, so the patina will go in between those lines, and it'll show it off real nice. Or you could try the chasing hammer, the ball peen part. And I kind of like that design because it looks more like a scaly skin, but or a fish, but you could call this a whale tail or a mermaid's tail, whatever floats your boat. So yeah, that takes it. But I am kind of partial to the lines too. So I think I'm going to go with the lines on here. And maybe the smart thing to do would be to hold the tail with my ring clamp so I don't smash my fingers. Let's see how that'll work. It works. I guess you could do that as much as you want. This is giving little dots on here too. I guess because of the unevenness of the metal, it's not taking the strike at full force of just a line, and I'm getting little dots here, I think, from the end of the hammer. But actually, it doesn't look bad like that. I kind of like it, in fact. And, you know, when I had first talked about finding your spoon, to find one that had a design on here, that's kind of nice if you have one. But if it's plain, that's not a big deal either, because you can stamp something on here or not. It's really just a design choice if you want that on there or not. All right. Oh, my laundry's ready. I think I'll just add a few lines up here. Actually, I kind of like that. Okay, so now is when I would smooth this all out here. Anybody have any questions up to this point? Let's see here. Marianne says, I was wearing my fork elephant today and got 2 orders along with keychains they want made from their grandmother's flatware. That is very cool. That is very cool, Marianne. Listen, it wouldn't be the first time I banged my fingers. But I'm trying to work smarter instead of harder, like they say. Doesn't always work. All right, so I'm going to take my micromotor here and make a mess. And I've got one of these silicone discs that has an abrasive inside. So that's kind of neat for making short work of areas that you have to file. You should wear a face mask and eye protection when you do this, though, because all these little crumbs, you know, these wheels, you can blow through these really fast, and all that stuff goes all over the place. So take care of yourself, protect yourself. I had one of these wheels break. I think you saw that post, or maybe you didn't, but I was going a little bit too fast with these, and I honestly think that these things dry out over time. I could be wrong, but I think that the longer you have them around, I think they dry up or something. So I try to keep them in a plastic bag, because I think they get more brittle as they age. That's just my thought. I don't know if that's really true or not. But I like working with this where you could use a file. There's nothing wrong with using a file if that's what you've got. This is just a little bit of time saving, and it's great for these demos. The thing with these wheels, though, is you shouldn't really go like this with them because you're going to wear a groove in the center. You should work this way. But sometimes, like when I'm doing the points, I have to go on the edge. So I don't want any little stabby points. But you can see, this is a real fast project. But I wouldn't get overly aggressive with the filing or the sanding. But whoever came up with this idea was pretty clever, because I wouldn't have thought of it. Some of those patterns on those templates that I was talking about have some really snazzy designs that you would have to saw out, and don't even bother trying to use a metal shear, you know, like something like this to cut the spoon with, because you'll be probably breaking your shears. Now I'm going to sand this top edge just to smooth it off. I haven't tried to make an elephant yet with the forks, but one of these days I will. Alright, so now I want to put my little hanging hole in here. Where's my Sharpie? Here it is. And I'm going to eyeball it, as you know. That's what I do. So I'm just going to mark a little mark where I want to put my hole. And then I'm going to use a center punch and a regular hammer and put that center punch right over that hole. So I make a little divot in there so that way I can use my drill, which I will turn you over this way to the drill press. And then I'm going to, let's see here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing or not. I'm going to look at the camera here on the laptop to see if you can see what I'm doing. No, it's not too close, but let's turn this around a little. Yeah, that's better. All right, so I've got a block of wood on here because for the height for the twist drill that I'm using. And I'm going to take my ring clamp again. This time I'm going to put the tail part in of the ring clamp, like so. You do not want to hold on to this piece of metal with your fingers because it's going to spin around and you can really get hurt. So I'm going to line this up, make sure that I am at the right height, which I am, and then I'm going to turn on my drill press, put my visor back on, the hole for the pendant. And let's see here. All right, get back over here. And then I'm going to make sure there's no rough stuff on the side of the holes, both sides, just ever so lightly. Okay, so that's nice and smooth. All right, now let's see here. I'm going to give the tail just a slight curve here. Just dap it a tiny bit. I could actually do that after I patina it, but I'm not. I'm gonna just do this. Okay. And just put that in my dabbing bowl. And that gives it just a little bit of curve, which I think looks nice. All right, and now, see how fast this is? Now I'm going to use a Sharpie marker. Take this thing off. I'm going to use one of these Fat Daddy things here. All right, and use this as my patina, because I have not found good success trying to use liver of sulfur with this. So you can try it if you like. I'm not saying you can't try, but this is a very quick, easy way. And you want to make sure you get this off. Okay. You want to get this taken off right away. The longer you let your Sharpie marker dry on this stuff, the harder it is to get off. So I'm just using a little piece of 4/0 steel wool. And then you can use a Pro Polish pad if you wanted to, and just shine that up a little bit more. Give that a little bit of a shine. Make sure you get off any excess on the sides. All right. And get a nice jump ring, nice size. And Bob's your uncle. It couldn't be any easier. I mean, that was pretty darn simple and quick for this little cute piece. You could knock off a lot of these as gifts or selling, whatever. Put it on a nice chain. What do you think? Not bad, huh? You don't have to look at my mug. Let's see. There you go. Like that. How much would I sell this for? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 18 or $20. It depends if you put a nice chain on it or not, though. You know, the chain will up your price a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that would be anything. You know, if you're using silver plate, it's not very expensive. You know, you want to cover the cost of your spoon, which can or can, you know, may or may not be expensive. Um, but here's the thing: when you make the tail, you're just cutting off. You're just cutting off the bowl. So if you have a nice spoon, you can make a really nice ring with the remainder of this. So, you know, you get two for the price of one, really. The only thing I would suggest when you're looking for spoons, especially if you're looking for spoons for rings, is you don't get real thick ones. There's different patterns, and they have, like this is pretty thick. This is what I would consider pretty thick, and I know I can't really share that with you very well, but it's a lovely spoon. It would make a really pretty ring, but you know, it's going to be a thick one. But on the other hand, you don't want to get a real thin spoon either, because those can break off the tops of them. I've had that experience. Say like something like this versus this. I don't know if you can tell, but this is, where can I put it where you could see it better? Down here? Over the girls? No, I don't think so. You can see that this ring or this spoon is a lot thicker than this one. However, if you're going to use a spoon like this for a ring, this little part up here can be tricky when you're bending. You know, if you bend it too much, you're going to break this little piece off. I guess what I'm saying is, you know, sometimes you just have to experiment with things, and I would say not to get anything super expensive to experiment with, but kind of get some practice under your belt before you work on something that's more expensive. You can also get like larger spoons like this, and you can make a much bigger whale tail on there if you wanted to make something a little larger. But this, to me, is way too big to make a ring with. It's just really, it's really kind of big. It would be almost obnoxious. Although people are wearing really big rings these days, so I guess it just depends on your taste. You know what you like. So, but this is also is very thick as well, so that would make it more difficult. But I think there are clever ways that people use these parts and pieces. I love the stamping on them. I just think that they're beautiful, well crafted, and it seems like there should be something really useful that you could make, or something really cool that you could make with some of these pieces. So Marianne says she's done piercing on the spoon bowls as well. That's very cool. I really haven't experimented that much with it, but there's always time. There's always time. Oh, this is the one. This is one of the spoons that I had breakage on here when I was trying to make a ring out of it. This is quite a bit thinner, but it's this little section at the top. If you bend it a little bit too much, you can crack this piece off. But I would recommend, if you get into your patterns, if you like finding different patterns for rings or whale tails, it doesn't matter. Really, a bowl is a bowl, you know. It just depends on the size template that you're going to use for the size that you want. But I just mark on my spoon, you know, what pattern that is, so I can remember. I probably will try to remember to do it on the back side now, since I'm going to be using these uh, for tails, whale tails or mermaid tails, whatever. Um, but that way, if you go looking for them, you know what that pattern is, and that's really a really pretty one. So, and that ring that I made the other day that I posted, this is a thistle. This is a thistle, and this pattern is really hard to find. I got lucky and found some, and actually I got a few from a friend too, so that was really nice. But this one I found in an antique store, and I don't know, I paid a few dollars for it, but to me, it's worth it. If you have a pattern that you absolutely love and you pay $4 or $5 for one item, I mean, you're getting a lovely ring out of that. And it is still silver plate, but it took the Sharpie marker real nice on there. And I'm really pleased with this one. So I may make a few more. Yeah, it's a thistle. I don't know if there's anything more um, that you need to know. If Nancy Harrington is watching, or if she watches later, maybe she can um, chime in on that, because she was the one who turned me on to these the thistle pattern. Say that say that 3 times fast or 5 times. I can't even say it once. So I don't know. You guys want to see? Oh, I was going to do the sterling one and see if that's any easier as far as the sawing goes. If you feel like sticking around, I may try that. That fits the same. You know, once you flatten your silverware, you'll be able to tell if that pattern is going to work. And to me, a teaspoon is pretty much standard size, but there could be some variation to that. I'm no expert on any of this stuff, so I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with this sterling one. I want to think about that, because I'll probably keep this one for me. So let's see. Tammy says I made some. Let's see. Look over here. Tammy said she made some nice horse duver stuff. Hors d'oeuvres. I always say horse duvers. I just because I'm stupid. Oh, she's also made some corn on the cob holders with forks. That sounds nice. I'd like to see that. If you ever have any of those around, I'd love to see something like that. And Cindy says, make a copy of the silverware pattern mold, then use the mold for metal clay rings. I saw an artist do that on a bead and button. Okay, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I should try to, I've got the stuff to make a mold, so I should probably try that. The Demitas spoons also, I find if you can find them, they're like perfect for a ring. For something that's not real bulky, more delicate, the Demitas spoons work really nicely. Yeah, Tammy, if you make more, post it. Post it on the page, because I don't know, I always like to see that. You know, I like to see what other people make with stuff, and then we can get different ideas from each other, which I think is great. So, all right. Any questions or comments or anything? I don't know what I want to do with this spoon. I may hold off on the silver one, just because I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn. See, I had done the hammered pattern on here, but I didn't put any marker on here because I didn't think that was going to show up very well. Although I guess you don't know unless you try to put that on there. But I kind of, there we go. You can see it that way. But the ones with the lines, you know, you can see those pretty well. And I kind of like this one, that it was kind of, well, that's the one that I just did. and it made little dots, I guess, with hitting the edge. I wasn't intentionally doing that, but I really don't mind how that looks at all. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, so, well, maybe I'll wrap it up, but I'm going to put the instructions in the group in a few minutes. I'll put those on there, and any other little informational tidbits that I have. Marianne's asking, Marianne, I have brain farts daily throughout the day. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do regular metal stamps on there, but I think sterling, if you do it on sterling, it'll be a lot easier because it's softer than the plated ones. So you can give it a shot. But like I said, look for inexpensive spoons, silver plated spoons that you can play with, and then you can kind of decide, what you want to do. This is the spoon that I used for the ring, the thistle, and I guess, oh, the one I have on is a little bit larger, and that is, I used the bowl from this spoon. So, and then I made that ring from the rest of it. So, not bad, not bad. Yeah, sterling is better. You can do it, but I think you're going to have more bounce when you hit your stamps. You're going to have that bounce because the metal is harder, and the softer, or the sterling is softer, so I think it will stamp much better. You can also use straight line stamps if you have little straight line stamps like this, metal stamps that you can make straight lines with. Or you could use a chisel that has a top this is an old one, but you can pound on the top of this one. Some chisels, they have a rounded top, and that might not work too good, but you can make lines with a chisel and a hammer also on there. And I can't think of anything else to tell you about this. But like I said, you can print. If you're into making these, I would think you can make quite a few of these unless you glue them. But if you just trace them like I did, you could probably use the same pattern over and over again. I did order the patterns from flatwearable.net, but I haven't gotten them yet. So as soon as I get them, I will post them online. And let me see, Jamie's saying you can't anneal silver plate. Well, you can, but you lose the plating. That's exactly right. It would be so much easier if you could anneal it just like you do silver and not lose the finish. So, but this is still something I need to investigate because I do see people solder things on silver plate pieces. So I'm not really sure how they did that. I'm going to try to find out. I know a couple people that have done that and see if they will share that information with me. Yeah, meaning to anneal. Yeah. If you could anneal it, it would stamp a lot easier. Very true. Excuse me. So, if you make any of these, please post them. I'd like to see what you come up with. I'm sure there's some cute ideas, and it's nice to have other ideas. So, Suzanne has crystal rivets to use on silverware. Oh, cool. I haven't investigated her site fully. I just did, I heard that she had the templates, the tail templates, so I ordered those, but I didn't order. Oh no, I did. I did order something else on her site, and it is a acrylic, I think it's acrylic, um, ring gauge template. It has all the sizes that you need on the template of the lengths that you need to make certain size rings. So, I've used, some different formulas and stuff like that, but I think if I had a template, it would make things a lot easier. So, yeah, I did join the Facebook group that she has as well. So, I haven't had the time for all of it, but I'll eventually get there. And these little tiny, this is one of those little Demitas spoons. They make fabulous little rings that are not so heavy. So I'm repeating myself. So it's time to go. Anyway, if you have questions, just ask me in the group, and I will put that information on in just a few minutes with the handout. Marianne's asking, the soldering you did on the copper with the stamps, you can do the same on a flat spoon. Okay. All right. Let's see here. I can't read off of my camera very well. It's very small, so I look at my laptop. Yeah, I will, Tammy, I will. As soon as I get the package from them, I will check it out, and then I will maybe hop on here with those and let you know what I think about them. But Marianne, I'm going over your question here. The soldering you did on the copper with the stamps, you can do the same on flat spoon bowls. Okay, I think I know what you're referring to, but I'm not 100% sure. So, me, I'm a picture girl. I have to show me a picture, then I know what you mean. All right. So, I hope you guys all have a nice Thanksgiving. I am cooking here again. I've been doing this for, I don't know, probably 45 years, cooking Thanksgiving dinner. It's always it's always an exhausting task, but I like to do it. That's like my favorite meal to cook. But I'll be busy. I will be busy. Tomorrow is Grandparents' Day at my grandson's school, so I have to go there at 8:30 in the morning in Chicago. And well, I mean, I'm happy to go. I just wish it was like at noon. So anyway, I have that tomorrow. That's why I had to do the demo today. And then Wednesday, I'll be prepping for dinner on Thursday. So I hope you guys all have a great holiday. And I hope you're eating at somebody else's house and you don't have to cook. So you guys take care. I will see you next week, but also on the group occasionally. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.